Tonight on CTV News at 5, marking 6 months since the disappearance of Eli Wood. The latest on the investigation as friends and family search for answers. Plus, cannabis safety tips, from understanding the risks of edibles to the dangers of impaired driving. And a Kitchener landmark on the move. Why the Second World War Spitfire replica aircraft is being donated and leaving Waterloo region. CTV News at 5 starts right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It has been 6 months since the mysterious disappearance of university student Eli Wood, who hasn't been seen since a fire at their Kitchener home that police say was an act of arson. Investigators say the case is still active, but family and friends say the wait for updates has been difficult. CTV's Hannah Schmidt has the latest.
6 months later, and still no clear answers in the disappearance of 25-year-old Eli Wood.
He's the type of person to put somebody else always first before himself and to always support anybody. I don't think in my whole entire life I have still yet to meet somebody like him. He's just so kind. He's like a ray of sunshine after like days and days and days of rain.
Eli was last seen on October 18th. The next morning, flames had engulfed his home on Major Street in Kitchener. Police have not said what sparked the fire, but arson and foul play may be involved. Although the case is still active, no new details have been released.
Every day that passes by is harder than the last because it's just more time has gone by, more questions, more theories.
For friends and family, each passing day without answers only adds to the uncertainty and the urgency to keep Eli's story in the spotlight. That uncertainty carries a heavy toll.
I feel really sad. I feel really angry. I feel really confused and lost. We really have nothing at all. We don't know anything.
Eli's family declined an interview, but continued to share messages online, urging people to keep sharing his story. A post written by his mother read in part, quote, "6 months ago, we got the call that Eli could not be located. Since that moment, our lives have been nothing but pain, fear, and unanswered questions. 6 months of torture, not knowing where our child is." As the case continues to gain traction online, Brock said the attention is a double-edged sword.
A lot of people online don't see this as sometimes real life. Like Eli is my friend. Eli is somebody's brother, somebody's child.
The family is offering a $5,000 reward for information.
All we want to do is bring them some answers and bring the family some answers. I want Eli to know that no one is going to stop looking for him, and we're going to continue searching for him no matter what.
Those closest to Eli say they're holding on to hope and won't stop looking for answers. Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Kitchener.
The hearing to decide the fate of the Victoria Street encampment in Kitchener wrapped today, leaving Justice Michael Gibson to determine a path forward. In 2023, the region lost its case against encampment residents. A judge ruling the region could only clear the encampment after providing adequate housing for people living there. The region now says they have done enough, but it's something lawyers for encampment residents don't agree with. CTV's Jeff Pickle will have the latest from court tonight at 6. And there are new details tonight on the trial of an elderly woman that ended with a verdict Friday evening. A jury found Elfgard Oughtred guilty of second-degree murder in the death of her husband. What jurors didn't know was that earlier in the trial, Oughtred's lawyer asked for the proceedings to be stayed due to an innocent incident weeks after her arrest, and it's possible it could impact her eventual sentence. CTV's Krista Simpson brings us an update on that in the next hour. And for now, we'll turn our attention to the forecast with Ashley Bacon live in studio. Great to be back here with you and see you again.
It's a little wintry today.
It certainly is. Something I'm not really used to after a little bit of an adventure to the sunshine.
Been south in the sun for a few days, as you can tell by our tan difference. But it has felt a little bit more like winter today than spring. It was a bit of a shock.
When I woke up this morning and there was flurry activity.
Oh, yeah.
I was just not ready for it.
Look, I was here the whole weekend and I too was not ready for the flurry activity. It is cold. But the good news is it's quite sunny, and we are looking at pretty clear conditions for the next few days. Let's take a look at the radar. Look at that. Not a lot going on. A little bit of cloud cover, but no precipitation, and we're not anticipating any precipitation, at least for the next few days. Right now, 2 degrees, so cool out there, and a westerly wind at 17 kilometers an hour. And so it is getting cold, but at least the sun is shining. Let's take a look outside at Victoria Street in Kitchener this hour. You can see not bad out from all appearances. It looks like it should on spring, but it feels a little cooler than it should.
Yeah, keeping my winter parka handy for now, Ash, that's for sure. Quick break. Here's what you need to know as we go there. Round 3 of the OHL playoffs set to get underway Wednesday night. The Brantford Bulldogs taking on the Barrie Colts in a best-of-7 series. Game 1 is happening at the TD Civic Centre in Brantford. Puck drop 7 p.m. Grab tickets for that one online.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
As cannabis use continues to become more common, public health officials say safety and awareness are more important than ever. From understanding the risks of edibles to the dangers of impaired driving. Let's discuss with Dr. Matthew Tenenbaum, the Associate Medical Officer of Health in Wellington, Dufferin, Guelph. Dr. Tenenbaum, great to see you as always. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the trends that you're seeing in cannabis use locally.
Sure. So as I'm sure everyone knows, cannabis did become a legal substance in the past decade, and we actually do a regular survey in our community of Wellington, Dufferin, Guelph to understand how trends have changed. We know, for example, from our last cannabis survey in 2023, that about 46% of those who responded said they had used cannabis in the past 12 months, and about 29%, 1 in 3, reported using it daily, which is actually up a little bit from the previous survey in 2018. So it is something we're certainly talking about and hearing about more. Definitely some evidence suggesting that a significant fraction of people use it within our community. And there's a spectrum in terms of how people use it, whether they use it in ways that are relatively healthier, lower use, and other people who use it more frequently or in higher dosages, because there are safer and less safe ways to use.
Well, let's start with talking about cannabis use amongst children and teens as well. How can parents talk to their kids about it in an honest and effective way?
So I think anytime as a parent you're having a conversation with your teenager or your child about cannabis, it really is important to, as best you can, build that from a foundation of trust, recognize that, children and teens are hearing about these things, maybe seeing these things in their peer groups, and keeping the conversations fact-based can be very helpful. So having frank conversations about what concerns you have, why you're talking to them, and making sure, children are aware or teens are aware of some of the harms, both in the short term and long term. In the short term, it can impair your judgment, it can change your behavior, lead you to do things that may be less safe, especially if you're doing things like driving after consuming cannabis. And the long term, we do, think about long-term impact on the lungs and other parts of the body, as well as longer term mental health impacts on things like anxiety. So bringing up those points for information, they're important things for youth to know if they're thinking about how they're using or whether to use. Additionally, it's worth just keeping things practical and talking about some basic things that people can do to reduce the risk associated with their use. So, for example, not getting into a car and driving after consuming cannabis, because it can impair your reaction time and it can affect your risk of a motor vehicle injury. Young people might be thinking about having cannabis alongside alcohol or other drugs, and combining those things can have an impact that is bigger than any one of them on their own. You do want to just think about using them in the least harmful ways possible, trying to find ways to reduce the frequency of use or find products with lower potency. And that's going to vary also depending on whether you're using inhaled cannabis, like you're smoking it, or taking cannabis as an edible. We know with edibles, you don't get the effect right away. It can take up to 4 hours for you to feel the effect of that cannabis in your system. As a consequence, it can be riskier because people might use more than they realize they're using. And when it hits them, it can hit them harder than they realized.
And I want to just follow up on that point there when it comes to edibles versus smoking or vaping cannabis. What should someone do if a child accidentally consumes an edible? Because they can really just look like candy that could be out around the house.
Yeah, so I think what you're alluding to is something you can do before you're hopefully in this scenario at all. If you are going to keep cannabis edibles in your home and you do have young children, it is really worthwhile thinking about where you're going to put those things, keeping them out of reach. Unfortunately, accidents can happen when these things are out, and a child may not realize what they're consuming is cannabis laced. They may just think that a brownie is an ordinary brownie. But keeping these things locked away securely can help reduce that risk. Of course, if you do have a young child who does consume, you may or may not know how much they're consuming. You may or may not know how much cannabis is in that brownie. You really do want to watch them very carefully. Certainly, as soon as you discover what's going on, it would be a good idea to contact Health 811 or the Poison Control Center to get some advice specific to your scenario. And of course, if you are noticing any changes in behavior or changes in health in a child who consumed cannabis as a brownie or as an edible, it is worth seeking care immediately, taking them to the hospital depending on how sick they are. Again, hopefully preventing these things before they occur, but if they do occur, give your local healthcare provider, Health 811, Poison Control a call, and seek care as needed based upon how they're doing.
And I just want to circle back to something that you touched on earlier, that being anxiety. Can cannabis trigger anxiety, panic, or mental health issues for some users?
It can. We know people are different in terms of their vulnerability to this, and it also, is affected by how often you use, how much you use, and it is something that can happen over the longer term. Unfortunately, it's something, we often see people when they talk about their reasons for using cannabis, managing anxiety or managing stress is a commonly cited reason, because in the short term, using cannabis can help make some people feel better. Unfortunately, that does have a bit of a longer term consequence. It might, make it more challenging over the longer term to manage anxiety. And this is something we're still learning about, but we are seeing consistently that cannabis use does have significant mental health complications. And it is really worth thinking about those as you're choosing whether to use and how much and how often to use.
Okay, well, a great conversation around cannabis safety today. Dr. Tenenbaum, thanks so much for your time. Dr. Matthew Tenenbaum is the Associate Medical Officer of Health in Wellington, Dufferin, Guelph. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Quick break, but before we go there, we will check our Need to Know calendar. Juliet and Romeo showcasing at Center in the Square this week with shows tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's a duet that blends dance, theater, and comedy. Tickets can be found online.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
It may look like spring outside, but it certainly does not feel like it. Ash, wow, blast of winter out there today.
I know, and I feel like I sound like a broken record, but remember, snowfall season goes until April 30th.
She has been telling us this.
I have warned everyone, myself included. When I tell you guys, I'm reminding myself, because I'm a big-time summer girl. So, yeah, it's not great out there.
We're close.
So close. About 2 months away from summer.
Yeah.
So we still have some time.
It could warm up a bit, though. The fact that I had my winter parka on today, I was not pleased with.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping after tomorrow we can put those away. Let's take a look back outside tonight on Victoria Street in Kitchener, just to give you a bit of an idea. That sun is still trying to stay out. We're getting a bit of cloud cover, but really not too much. And we're not expecting a lot of cloud cover for at least the next couple of days, which is great news. So even though temperatures are cooler today and expected to be just under seasonal tomorrow, the sun is expected to be out. So with that sun shining, hopefully it feels a bit warmer. Let's take a look at our futurecast. Paints the picture of what we can see. So lots of clear skies throughout southwestern Ontario right now. We will see a little bit of cloud cover through the overnight hours, but that is going to move on through, and by tomorrow afternoon we're expecting a pretty sunny Tuesday ahead of us, and that sunshine likely going to last into your Wednesday and Thursday. So not a bad week ahead. As we take a look at what's happening across the country right now, very comfortable 16 degrees in Prince George and Vancouver. On the other side of the Rockies, it's warmer for once. In Calgary, 20 degrees, 18 in Edmonton. In the Prairie Provinces, 13 in Regina, 16 in Winnipeg with the sun shining. So lots of sunshine across the country today. In Ottawa, 3 degrees, same with Montreal with that sun trying to peek through. Windsor, 8 degrees and sunny. And on the East Coast, 11 in St. John's, the sun shining in Halifax at 8. So not too bad across the country. Here in Waterloo region, feeling a little cooler, just 3 degrees. It is a little bit lower than seasonal for this time of year. Tonight, we are going to experience another cooler night below seasonal. We're expecting a low of -4 with around a 15-kilometer-an-hour wind. So if you are headed out through the overnight hours, you're going to want those winter jackets at least for one more time. Tomorrow, we're expecting a daytime high of 9 degrees, so just under seasonal for this time of year. But as I said earlier, with that sun shining, hopefully it feels a little warmer. What we should see around this time of year, 13 degrees for a daytime high and 2 as an overnight low. So well below seasonal today. Tomorrow we're rebounding a little bit, but not quite out of the woods when it comes to the cold stuff. As we take a look at our first at 5 forecast, great news across the board here. Tomorrow, as I said, 9 degrees, the expected daytime high with a mix of sun and cloud, overnight dipping down to 1. By Wednesday, though, temperatures really rebounding into above seasonal. Sunny and 17 expected for Wednesday. Thursday, probably the nicest day of the week on hand, 21 and sunny. Friday, there's a slight chance, around a 30% chance for showers moving back into the region and 20 degrees. By Saturday, though, we could see a slightly heavier chance for showers and 16. So Leanne, the good news is the sun is out, so make sure you pack your hat and sunscreen for the next week.
Yeah, not a bad week ahead at all. Ash, thank you. More safety measures may soon be en route to Kitchener roads. Tonight, a city committee will decide whether it will move forward with new staff recommendations as part of its Vision Zero strategy aimed at eliminating serious and fatal collisions. A new report from staff highlights dozens of areas due for a safety upgrade, which ranges from installing speed bumps to a complete infrastructure overhaul. If the recommendations are approved, they will have to be passed by council next month. But city staff say they hope to implement the new measures during this year's construction season to reduce risks as soon as possible.
We experience a little over 1,000 collisions a year, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but it's really meant to make our roads safer.
Coming up in the next hour, CTV's Alexandra Hollick will map out the city's plans for new safety measures and find out when drivers can see them in action. And still ahead on CTV News at 5, making exercise more accessible. The fundraising campaign underway for a new Good Life fitness program. We'll have those details just ahead. And here's what you need to know. The museum presents an evening with Chris Hadfield. It's taking place at Wilfrid Laurier University May 30th from 7 to 9 p.m. You can get tickets for the event online ahead of time. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
In tonight's digital dive, a potential strike is looming for Grand River Transit workers. That means riders will potentially have to find another way to get around the region. To find out more about when a deal needs to be reached by, our online team has all the details. You can scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca. And here's the final 5 stories we're following today. Canada's inflation rate rose to 2.4% in March because of rising fuel prices triggered by the war in the Middle East. Stats Canada says the consumer price index increased 2.4% year over year last month. That's up from 1.8% in February. Gas prices surged by 21.2% on a monthly basis in March. That's the largest increase on record, according to Stats Canada. Prices for food also rose by 4.4% on a year-over-year basis, with the cost of fresh vegetables rising by 7.8%. Canada Post workers start voting today on a 5-year contract. The 55,000 employees represented by the Canadian Union of Postal Workers can vote until May 30th on whether to ratify an agreement with the Crown Corporation. Canada Post and the union have battled over wages and structural changes to the Postal Service for more than 2 years, with workers hitting the picket lines multiple times. Both sides have agreed not to engage in any strike or lockout activity while the ratification vote happens. An annual fundraising campaign is underway for a Good Life fitness program, which makes exercise more accessible.
We always do a warm-up before each of our classes, just to help them regulate, get into the space, get ready for movement. We also always end off with a cool down and a stretch, followed by a mindfulness, just because our classes are so fun and exciting and we don't want to just send them out into the world after doing 25 jumping jacks. So we like to cool down with a stretch as well.
Move by the Good Life Kids program offers free fitness classes for youth between 12 and 21 years old with autism or intellectual disabilities. The program relies on donations so it can remain free for participants. To donate to the Move program, you can visit goodlifekids.com. An iconic Second World War Spitfire replica aircraft and Kitchener landmark is on the move. The full-size model has sat atop KW surplus for nearly 30 years, but it's now being donated and leaving Waterloo region. The store's owner has sold the business, and the well-known plane will be going to its new home at the Canadian Harvard Aircraft Association at the Tillsonburg Regional Airport.
I actually feel quite sentimental. I actually painted that thing twice over the years while it was on the roof. I think it went up in '97.
CTV's Spencer Turcotte will have more at 6 as he hears from the people who helped make this big operation possible. And finally for us, we've got an update to a story we first brought you late last year. A local family who donated their front yard tree to the city of Waterloo for its Christmas display in the Uptown Square is sharing the unique way they have transformed their lawn since. This was the beautiful spruce, which had outgrown its home on Crestwood Avenue in Kitchener. The owner wasn't stumped with what to do with the new space, transforming the remaining trunk into a gnome home. And here it is. They shared these pictures with CTV News today of the repurposed tree trunk and all the gnomes that now call it home sweet home. Very creative. Love that they were able to come up with a great idea for the space as well. It's a win-win situation. We will leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. We're back at the top of the hour with your next local news. Have a good night.